while working with the radius and strength, give you the overall effect of how you would work with the HDR. Really, it's more about kind of the darks and the lights of the image. So edge glow, I usually tell people, it's HDR for me is a lot about texture, right? It's about seeing texture and working with that. And you could always just go back over here and just do a Command or Control spacebar and just kind of click to be able to see this stuff, right? You can see that there's a lot of nuanced detail in there. I'm pretty happy about that. Now, what I want to do here, though, is not just work on this, the overall texture of this, right? I need detail and I need lights and darks. Because you'll notice that if you look at the stove now, you don't really have a lot of fine detail. Well, that's what this next section is right here, right? This deals with lights and darks, and it deals with the overall detail of the image. Now, if you bring this over here to the right, you'll notice that as you start picking that up, you'll start getting a lot more detail into the image. Now, if you do that, you're going to notice that any slight movement in the detail can really kind of compromise that image, right? You can go from 46% all the way out to, the difference between 46 and 76, right? So take a look. 46, tab. I'm going to take a look. 76, tab. Right. So you have to be very, very careful. And a lot of the times you'll find that when you do this, you might have to go back and compensate by kind of bringing your radius down a little bit in that image. So you increase a little bit of the detail, and as you increase the detail, you'll go, all right, well, let me go ahead and bring down my radius. So I play with these settings, but I don't get married to them too much, right? Now, once you have your detail kind of ironed out, from here, that's usually when I go into gamma, and gamma deals with the overall difference between dark and light points. Notice if you slide it all the way over to the left, right, the image is predominantly dark. Slide it over to the right, the image is predominantly light. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring this back in, and I'm looking for just the tonality of it. If the overall brightness wants to be taken down, I could always just do that right here inside of exposure. Now I'm getting something that's a little bit more of what I was looking for here, right? And now playing with my gamma, really what I get a little concerned about on the gamma side of things is the dirtiness of stuff. Like watch this. If I move my gamma all the way over to the right hand side, you'll see how the bottom of this tends to look a little dirty. I want to make sure that I stay away from kind of introducing, I want to say something like schmutz, but it's kind of hard to explain. It almost just looks like the image is dirty, and it does that every now and again. And that's a lot of over-processing. You'll also see this in things like haloing. That tends to be a lot of over-processing. So that's what I'm looking for here. Like everything else here looks okay, but I really don't like what's happening down here at the bottom. So I'm trying to be very considerate about that. If I pull this down, you'll notice that we got a lot of that detail back, and now it's looking a little bit better. So these three will kind of eke out some of the fine details by kind of playing with, dark and light colors and playing with a little bit of detail. But you're going to find that while this does a really, really good job, you're still going to need to go in and give this a little bit of sharpness. And I would do that in post inside of Photoshop. There are times inside of here where you're going to want to deal with color. Right. I tend not to want to work with color here because I think that Photoshop is a much better program to do that. But you might have to. In those instances, you can go ahead and work with, kind of bringing out some shadow detail, some highlight detail, but just kind of giving these some sliders to taste. Vibrance. Notice you pick it up, you drop it down. Right. This would make a really nice black and white. Now, I don't like playing with this too much here. I'd much rather take all of this stuff and adjust it inside of Photoshop using layer masks. I think that that's a much better place for you to do that. But sometimes you're going to need to do some of this processing here. The curve section is somewhere where I find myself doing a little bit of stuff. right? If I want to be able to increase a little bit of contrast here, I can go ahead and just kind of create a very small S-curve to get some more detail right out of that. So very, very tiny S-curves get me the detail that I want. This doesn't look dirty. I have a lot of detail in this one area. Things are looking really, really good. Now, I don't want to lose this. So what I'm going to do is, so that we can keep this all set, I'll click on this flyout right here at the very, very top where the preset is, and I'm going to click on Save Preset. And I'm going to call this Bodhi Stove CS6. What's good about this is by saving these presets like this, you can go ahead and actually distribute these presets. You can give these presets to somebody else. In fact, what I'll do is I'll take this preset and I'll put this preset with this class so that you guys can kind of do it on your own if you kind of want to see what it is that I did with those images. Now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and click on the OK button. And our image is all set.